Hey guys, what's going on? My name is Chris Hopkins. This is your best life defined. I'm sitting here, just so you know, the wind is blowing like hell outside. I'm in a fifth wheel, so you're going to hear some clanking and some howling. I'll do the best to clean it up, my best to clean it up. But if it doesn't work out that way, just bear with me on this. This is part of that choice that I've made every day, right? So, how you doing? I don't mean that just hypothetically. I mean, how you doing? How's it feel to wake up this morning? I woke up this morning feeling pretty good. I fell off a cliff about 2 days ago, I think. I don't know what the trigger was. I'm not even sure. I haven't even wasted the time to try and figure it out. But there I was rolling along, and all of a sudden I had no worth, and my podcast sucked. And you may have heard it in the last podcast. I didn't sound that upbeat, and generally I don't anyway. I mean, I'm not really up here trying to entertain you or be a stand-up comic. I'm trying to get you to think about your life. So if it seems a little dry, or it seems like, God, man, why doesn't he make me laugh or entertain me? Sorry, this is the best I can do. Living your best life isn't always about having a great time. In fact, if you look at that, that's what this is. This is the struggle to live my best life. This is the part of living my best life that sucks. But you know what the best part is? That I'm going to wake up tomorrow and I'm going to do it again. Oh, there we go. There's the podcast, right? Do it again. Do it again. I look around and I keep trying to come up with ways to give you some insight into just how close you are to living your best life. And I do my walk and talk. I'm walking around doing my thing. And I think about this, and really, you're already doing everything you need to do to live your best life. Physically, you show up every day. You wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning, and you spend a good amount of your time doing stuff that sucks. And it's driven by your desire for a certain outcome, right? A certain goal. You show up every day and you go to work even though you hate your job or it doesn't pay enough because you have that house and your dream is to pay that house off and to pay the car off and maybe to be debt free and go on vacation now and then. I mean, that's the big plan. And you continue to repeat that cycle every day, right? And what's funny is it doesn't even matter where you're at. It's not even about the reward. It's just life requires us to take action. The mistake we make is that sometimes we don't view it as action. That homeless dude, that guy stands on the corner in the middle of winter, got the cardboard sign, says, "Hey, dude, I'll work for food," or "I won't work at all," or I'm not going to lie to you. I don't want to work. I just need your money. However that thing works. He's working every day. He shows up every day, and when he gets off of work for what you want to call it, if that's what you want to call it, is work. He gets done panhandling every day, and he goes through the same steps. He probably counts his money up, and he goes by the liquor store, grabs a bottle of vodka, depending on how much he made. Maybe grabs some dinner, grabs something cheap, goes back to his tent or wherever he's staying, goes back to the shelter, doing his thing, right? And he repeats that. That's endurance. That is the ability to survive, right? Where living your best life comes in is it's simply in the choice. You're doing a bunch of crap right now that you probably don't want to do. And I mean, I'm not going to get in the debate. You can tell me, "Oh, I'm happy. I love my life. I wouldn't change a thing in my life." Anyone who says I wouldn't change a thing in my life is lazy. Oh, damn. I went there. Yes, I did. It's an excuse for not taking action. I don't care who you are. I don't care where you are. There's something in your life you need to change. So how do you incorporate what you already know into living your best life? Well, instead of doing what you're doing now, what you do to live your best life is you take a look at who you are. You take a look at what you would like to change in your life, and then you say, okay, what's the first step? What do I need to do? And then you take that first step every day on a regular basis, right? And no matter what you think about that thing, about how you feel, the emotional response to having to get up and do a podcast or to call the college and get your financial aid squared away for school, or to even begin to try and figure out that whole process, it's not fun. It's not going to be fun. And actually what it's going to do, it's going to require you to squeeze that in among all the other stuff you're doing. And the more consistent you can be about repeating that, and more consistent you can be about waking up every day and doing that same thing again, the more effective you're going to be achieving that goal. That's the simple truth to it. And what's interesting is you're struggling now. You can tell me, "Oh, I love my life. It's perfect." No, it's not. Go mow your lawn and make a list, a mental note of all the things you think about while you're mowing your lawn that you'd rather be doing. And that right there is an indication that there's all kinds of things you could change about your life. There's all kinds of things you can add to your life, right? Pick one of them. That's a great way for you to figure out where to start. It doesn't matter if you're trying to change the world like I am. If you show up every day and your dream is to make everybody wake up with a true intention and energy for life, right? It could be as simple as you saying, we really haven't had any fun in a while. I think tomorrow when I get off work, instead of coming home and buying with a 12 pack, I'm going to take the 12 pack to the lake. You drive, your designated driver. Or your 16-year-old son is designated driver, whatever it takes for that to happen. And then you add that to your life on, let's start on a Friday. Friday night would be a great time to go to the lake. Friday night would be a great time to take your partner to the movies or go out to dinner or just to go do something, go for a walk, right? And then just like the ugly part of your life, just like the part of your life that isn't so much fun, you do that same thing again. So every day you wake up and you've got something in your day, something scheduled in your day that says, wow, can't wait. Hey, guess what? What are you doing tonight? Wow, we're going to go fishing. What? You went fishing last night? Yeah, it's cool. Went fishing last night, going fishing tomorrow night. Why? How you doing that, man? Well, I just do it. Just wake up every day, and no matter what happens, that's the one thing I do again. That's how I've gotten to 306 podcasts. This isn't magical. There isn't some secret recipe to doing what I'm trying to do. I wake up, I decided, well, let's see. I took a look around at the world, and I said, there are people in the world who make a living telling stories. There are people in the world who make a living helping other people find happiness and find contentment. And there's a long list of them, right? I think that's what I'm going to do. I think that's my goal. And I thought to myself, well, what's the first step? Well, the first step would have been for me to learn how to do a podcast, because for those of you who know me or have listened to the podcast for a while, I can tell you right now, there's no shortage of my ability to talk. I can grab a story out of thin air. I've gotten that good at it, right? Well, I pick this plan up and I say, well, how often do I need to do that? Well, I would do it. I think I'm going to be above average, which is what I do. There's no medium with me. There's no moderation with anything I do if you haven't picked up on that yet, right? I'm going to do that action that takes for me to be a podcaster, and I'm going to repeat that action every day. Not because I like it, not because I love it, because believe me, sometimes I sit down here and it takes me 6 takes to get one podcast. I'm like, what's the matter with me? Because I get off track. Right? And just so you know, there's no script here. I got a piece of paper on my computer, and the headline on it says, do it again with the podcast number. That is the extent of this, right? But I show up every day and I do it. And it doesn't really matter what anyone thinks or what anybody believes. Guess what? By me taking that action, what's going to happen is it's going to work the same way for me as it did for Joe Rogan, Brene Brown, Tony Robbins, Tim Ferriss. You pick the name. You put Dave Ramsey. You put the name in there. How do you think they started? They did it, and they did it, and they did it, and they did it. Now, if you think, well, yeah, that sucks. How do you get up every day and do it? Well, what I do gives me energy because I build a story around it. That's the ticket. It doesn't matter whether if you build a great story around something you do, it doesn't matter whether it sucks or not. It doesn't matter whether you love it or not. The only thing that matters is, can you convince yourself, whatever that looks like, can you convince yourself to consistently take that action towards that goal? The toughest thing I've ever seen is those long-term goals. This is why we fail at long-term goals. It's because, if you're sitting in your mud puddle, if you're sitting in your crappy life and you're strapped for cash, and let's say the goal is to change jobs, God, there is nothing you're going to get from the effort it takes for you to take your life from the job you're doing now with no way out to actually showing up at college every day, every night, 4 nights a week to get a degree, right? There's no tangible benefit for that. And what if you fail? I mean, think about it. That's the big struggle that you face when you write a novel or a book. I mean, I've got hours and hours in my book right now, and there's a possibility that it's going to fail. But you know what I do? I build a story around it that says, no, I'm not. My book's going to be, it's going to be awesome. It's going to be a New York Times bestseller, right? Someone's going to buy it. People are going to say, if for no other reason, people are going to buy it simply because of the effort that I put into it. But some way or another, someone's going to do that. That's where you get the fuel for dreams that you haven't experienced yet. What's cool about it is it builds on itself. Wins get wins, right? I don't even consider how many times I've thought, oh, I suck, I failed, right? Because it doesn't matter. Those times don't count because I can still see the prize. The prize is that I wake up every day and I share my story with you. My life gets better. Your life hopefully gets better. And I'm one step closer to someone saying, you know, I think he's got something there. I think there's a story here. Let's jump on this, right? And it's in the consistency, just like you live your life. Just like you get up at 5:30 in the morning, when you get off of work at 5 o'clock at night, you go straight to the gym because you're tired of that beer belly. You're tired of that 30 pounds you've been carrying around. You're tired of not having the energy, right? And then you go to bed and you think about what you did, and the next morning, guess what? You do it again. And that's where success comes from. There's no magic recipe except for inconsistency. Except for the ability to handle failure and say, okay, I suck. The ability to not allow ourselves to get in our own head about why we aren't worthy enough to step up on stage with important people like Brene Brown, Dave Ramsey. The list is endless. Who says I can stand up here and say, hey guys, I got an idea for you? I do. And the ticket is even when it sucks, you wake up and you do it again. I don't know. I'm living it. I'm really excited about it. And what's cool about it is if you're struggling to get your car started, get your life moving in a direction, it's really simple. Think back to something in your life you enjoy doing that doesn't require a lot of resources besides time. Something you actually enjoy. An example for me would be disc golf. I love disc golf. I'm kind of afraid of it right now because I've got out there getting crazy trying to be a young guy in an old man's body, right? And I kind of messed up my shoulder a little bit. But you can pick something as simple as that and say, okay, we're adding this to our life today. You can tell your partner, listen, I'm tired of not having more fun. Let's go ahead and we're going to do this today. And if it doesn't work out, if it doesn't seem to be as great as I think it's going to be, we're going to pick something else. But once you pick that thing, if you're not working towards it, if you can grab a hold of it right now, do it. Imagine how great it'd be to look back and actually have 6 months of going fishing every night. Imagine having 6 months of engaging in some activity where you're like, well, the day sucked, but this was cool, right? You grind it out all day. It didn't go well. You get home and then you realize, oh, wait, guess what we get to do? Oh, wow. Yeah. All right, let's go do it. And you get all excited and you're ready for it. And it adds fuel. Those are the wins that provide you with the energy to do it again. The hardest move you'll ever make is the first move. And of course, if you're struggling for a long-term goal and there's a long uphill climb in the way, then you're going to have to really come up with a great story so that you can get there. And I repeat it over and over again. I'm going to be famous. There's no doubt. There's no doubt. I'm going to be famous. I have to believe that in order for me to continue. I have to believe that someone is going to say, you know what, Chris, I think you got this. And not more than that, even more important than that is someone's going to say, hey, I never thought about that. I'm going to try that. And then to come back and say, hey, Chris, thanks because it worked. And now I'm excited. And I look at my tank and I got a half tank of fuel. I'm ready to go. I'm going to do this again. And then I'm going to take this same recipe and I'm going to move it over to my relationship or to my finances. Or to just how much time I get to spend laughing and playing and being and enjoying the things I love to do, to be a kid again, to play, right? Because that's all I'm doing. That's all I'm doing. I show up every day and I got this knack. It's the ability to talk. And I've spent so much time asking myself questions about this topic, about what does it really mean to live your best life, that it's just rolling. This isn't work for me. The mechanics are the production, having to do what I do every day, but I wake up every day and I do it again. I wake up every day and I work on that book every day. And guess what? Somewhere down the road, I'm going to be able to say, hey, guess what? It's done. It's on Amazon. Can you check it out? Please download it. I appreciate it. RVers, right? And then guess what I'll do? I'll start on another book. I'll take a look at this and I'll say, okay, maybe we need to change this format. Maybe I need to go to a Zoom meeting every so often. Because you got to imagine this. See, this is how that creativity works. It's really exciting because when I look at what I'm doing now and I look at the environment around me, I was standing there, I was scanning social media, I seen a post by Tony Robbins, and he's inviting his virtual audience on to his, I don't know if it's a Zoom or what platform he's using, but he's inviting his audience to join him in this conversation, right? And I'm like, okay, let's do this, right? And I got to thinking, well, there's nothing stopping me from doing the same thing. I mean, virtually, really, think about it. What's it going to take for me to take this podcast to once a month or once a week virtual meeting where we're sitting around kicking the bobo? That's a term my my niece Kristen gave me a long time ago. I haven't heard it in a while, but when we're sitting around hanging out, talking, right? And getting to share stories about our lives and getting to interact. Once I start that, I'm in trouble because once I start it, I'll do it again. And I'll continue to do it. And this thing will continue to balloon. And pretty soon someone's going to jump on board. And God, who knows where it's going to go. And it all comes down to showing up every day. It all comes down to saying, hey, are you really happy where we are right now? Are we done? Are we done growing? Are we done becoming something? I'm never going to be done. I'm going to be lying on my deathbed, and when I can't do anything else, I'm going to have a graphite pencil and a tablet, and I'm going to be drawing the shit out of stuff. I'm going to be like, well, I can't really do too much. Can't get around. I guess I'll start doing some amazing artwork. It's a crazy notion. But the reality is, no matter where you are one step, one choice, one decision away from making it better. And I'm just like, I'd just be Yoda. Look, right? I'd just be the Yoda. I'd just say, hey, come on. All right, it sucks. Do it anyway. It sucks. Do it anyway. And eventually, guess what? You're going to get there. What's unfortunate about this whole conversation is I can't do it for you. I cannot give you anything that's going to make you act beyond the advice to do so, beyond a recipe that's worked for me. The question is today the day? Is today the day that you stop long enough to say, I think I could have some more fun. I think I want to play a little more. I'm going to add this to my life. And if I have to, I'm going to get rid of that in order to do it, because sometimes it's a trade-off. And once you do that, I promise this, once you take that action in a direction that allows you access to something that adds energy to your life, you become unstoppable. Because getting your engine revved up, waking up and going, hell yeah, I did it. It does something to us. It changes our perspective. It changes how we view life and our possibilities and where we can go with it. So, I don't know. Hey, I want to give a shout out before I shut down on this one. Thank you, Brian, for an amazing conversation. I met Brian at the park. I was out doing some getting ready to work out. He rolled up. Really a smart guy. I can tell we're going to be great friends. It was cool. It felt so good. It was really inspirational to listen to someone tell a story that's kind of like mine with the same insight. That was really, we must be brothers from another mother, my friend. Blessings to you and your family. For those of you who keep showing up every day, all I can say is thank you. Thank you for showing up and reminding me that what I do is important, because I believe it is, but every once in a while I look at that cliff, I look at something on social media and I go, I suck, right? Not feeling that way today, and it's because of you. So keep showing up. Please keep sharing. This is an organic process. If I'm going to spread out and my message is going to be shared, it's going to be done through you guys. I don't pay for Facebook ads or any of that. So keep that in mind. If you haven't checked it out, depending on where you're listening to this, if you're listening to it on the podcast, take a minute, go over, check out the YouTube channel. I got just about as many podcasts or videos on my YouTube channel by the same name, by the way. If you're watching this on YouTube, go check out my podcast on Podbean. Other than that, All I can say is your dream is yours. Grab a hold of what it is that inspires you. Be committed to it. Face the struggle that comes with it. And before you know it, you're going to be looking back going, damn, I can't believe we did it. And you'll never stop. So keep that in mind. Let's not forget the kindness. And as always, until next time, just remember today's your day. Make it a good one.